Hello and welcome to a new episode of B2B E-Commerce Accelerated.
The B2B E-Commerce podcast that helps B2B sales leaders move more efficiently and crush growth targets. My name is Tim van Hatten, EVP of Enterprise at Sana Commerce.
And I'm Ruben Mink, CEO EMEA APAC at Sana Commerce. And we today are your hosts. Tim, I'm very excited today because today we're going to talk with a B2B sales leader.
Yes, and before we jump to the interview, if you enjoyed listening, please leave a review or a rating so you'll help your fellow sales leaders find our content better and easier. Today we have with us Dave van der Pasch, Commercial Manager at Mijten. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. The first question, Dave, we are going to ask every sales leader we speak to is, how did you end up in sales? Because no one grows up with the idea in mind, I want to be in sales later when I'm a grown up, right? Everyone more or less ends up in sales, or typically that happens. So the first question will always be, what's your story?
My story, it started quite some years ago. When I was studying, I had a job and it was just I was selling carpets in retail, and that was I started very small over there as selling the carpets, and I really enjoyed all the contact with customers, and that was the first time I thought, okay, maybe this is something I want to do later on. Then in my study, business management in Wageningen, I said, okay, when I can go further in retail, because that was my first idea about customer contact. So I did. I started my career in retail, and now I'm here. Yeah.
Now you're here today, joining us on the podcast.
Yeah.
Super. Can you please explain our listeners a little bit more about your current situation or your current position?
My current position is I'm commercial manager, so I'm responsible for all the sales and marketing activities within our company. So all the account managers. So I have some direct reports. We are a quite small company and a family-owned company. So yeah. Sometimes I can also describe it. I'm the right hand of the owner. So we do a lot of things together. But that's my role. So not only sales, but also all other kind of projects that come by. Yeah.
Clear, Dave. Thanks for your introduction, and great to have you. And let's elaborate maybe a little bit on the company you work for, Mijten, right? It's a producer of animal feed, and as you already mentioned, a family-owned business. Can you elaborate a little bit more about the company? What do you do? How do you help customers, and so on?
Yeah, the company was founded more than 80 years ago, just as a small feed mill. And it has changed during the years to now a medium-sized feed-producing company. And the main activity, we produce feed, so the food for animals. Yeah. And we specialize in all kind of feed that has special aspects. And so we don't make the mainstream feeds, but also all the feeds that are a bit special. For instance, for horses or for young animals like calves or like baby goats. That's what we do most.
Right. And where are you located? And where is, let's say, what is the geographical area that you're active in as a business?
The company is located in a small Flemish town. It's called Bekkenvoort. It's near to Leuven. That's what more familiar to most people. And our main markets are Belgium and the Netherlands.
Right.
But we also have some export markets in the Middle East, Northern Africa. So that's what we also do some France, a bit Germany. So that's our playing field.
Very interesting. And you mentioned family businesses. How many generations is the family involved, or is it started in 1930s, I think? So.
Yeah, 1938. Now the third generation is in charge.
Right.
The next generation is preparing to come to take over the company. That's
very nice.
Yeah,
very nice. And maybe can you elaborate also a little bit on what type of customers do you serve with your products?
Yes, I can. There are a lot of different kind of customers. We have when I start at the B2B side, we see very large companies, more the organized farmer organizations that buy feed for many farms. We also have the individual farmer, so that's the farmer side. We also have retail, and you see the same. You see the big retail companies with many outlets. But we also our clients are also business owners that only have one or two outlets.
Yeah.
So that's the retail part, and then we have the B2C parts that we have horse owners that buy their feed from our company. But we also produce feed, for instance, for rabbits and for so all kind of B2C also can be our clients. Yeah.
Clear. And thanks for that, Dave. That sounds like a company with a long tradition, right? Third generation family business. It also sounds like I got to be careful picking my words here, but a little bit of a traditional industry, maybe. Yet, at some point, you did decide to add an online sales channel, which is obviously evolution of sales, if you like. So were you involved in that decision, and what were the main objectives or the main reasons for Mijten and yourself to go into that direction?
You don't have to be careful because the feed business in general is very conservative. So, and on the other hand, it's a family-owned business with long traditions. Also, some of that feelings are. On the other hand, we also see that the business owner in this case is very innovative and really thinking always about the next step. I know what I do today. I know what I have today, but how can I evolve to the next step in sales, but also product development, and that is really something that signatures this company. I was involved with that decision because, to be more precise, the business owner asked me, because he knew me from the past. We did some business together. He said, "Okay, Dave, I think we have to make a next step with this company. I don't know sure how. Please come to Belgium and let's have a chat and see what are your ideas, because I don't know how to go." And then we came. Some things came together. The online presence of the company was not that good, so I said, "Okay, that's the first thing I should change." And that's. On the other hand, you saw a very traditional way of helping customers. So you saw all the orders came mainly by phone, a bit by email, but even there was, and then we talk at 7 years ago, there was even a telefax on the office. That was the situation, and it was okay. Can we do that? How can we do it better? And then we came on. Okay, what about an online sales channel? And so we started to investigate the possibilities. So that's in brief how we get on this.
So if I understand you correctly, Dave, you were describing the owner approached you. So at the time he approached you, you were not working for the company.
Indeed.
To talk about this, and why did he approach you? If I can ask, it's interesting.
Okay, I was in the past. I was working for quite a large retailer, and he was one of. I was buying the feed from him, so I was a buyer there. So that was the connection we had.
Nice.
Yeah. Thanks. Dave, you mentioned that the manual order process back then was one of the reasons why you and the business owner decided to move to an online sales channel also, or to add an online sales channel rather. So would it be fair to say that efficiency was one of the main objectives that you had in mind when you moved online?
Yes, it was efficiency, and it was the online presence.
Understood. And how can you tell us a little bit more about which results that led in terms of efficiency and in terms of online presence?
When we started efficiency, we see that there were quite some mistakes in the order process. So when people ordered by phone or by email, there was quite some discussion about, okay, but what product did you order? There was they wanted to order mix A, but we understood it was and mix B was on the order confirmation, with all the mistakes that it gives. So there I did a quick analysis, and in 1 in 10 orders there was something that had to be repaired after the sales.
Wow.
Now we see that with the online sales, it's less than 1%. And when there is a mistake, it's a mistake of the customer. So there's no discussion about that we made a mistake. It's always clear the customer has made the mistake, and they are grateful when we help to repair the mistake. And
exactly, yeah.
Beforehand, it was the other way around. It's all you did it wrong. Yeah, and that's really a big change we have made in the efficiency of order entry.
That's an amazing result. And if you look at the online presence, did it make much of a difference when you allowed your customers to also order online?
Yes, it's what, and that's something we hadn't clearly in mind, but we our online presence was a website with some kinds of feed we produce, and a bit of story about the company and some contact information. But with the online sales channel, we opened our total assortment, our total catalog online, and we really saw that customers ordered products that they never ordered before, and that was really because it was now visible to them. So that's really something an added value we hadn't in mind upfront.
Yeah,
It's a pleasant surprise.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice. And Dave, so you were saying, and that's really impressive, right? Going from 10% roughly order errors to 1%. So that is amazing. But was it also the case that your customers were really asking for this online channel? Was it more that you came up with it from your side because you saw the situation, or I'm curious to what extent they were really.
No, it was really on our own incentive.
Right.
I think, and then we come back to where we just mentioned, is that the feed market, but also our customers are quite conservative. And they it's now, we are now 6-7 years later, and now there are more companies that have an online sales channel. But when we started, we were one of the first ones that came with this online sales channel. So they were not familiar with it, so they didn't ask it up front. No.
Do you remember the first responses from them still when you introduced it, or?
Yeah, why? Why do you do it? I'm always ordering by phone. That's nice, and I like that lady that's on the other. That's on the phone, and can't I want that personal contact, and all that kind of things came around, but we didn't push the customers to buy online. It's okay, it's a possibility. See if you want to use it. So you see that's in the beginning we just started with a handful of customers that ordered online. And during the weeks and months and years, you see it growing and growing. That's
right.
And if you look at,
sorry, Tim, go on.
If you look at that adoption side of things, Dave, I hear you say, well, right, you took your time to get your customers to get used to it and to really adopt the new channel. And you also say now it's really growing. So what, now that the customers are more familiar with the channel, what is for them, if you from their perspective, what is the main reason for them now to embrace it and to really adopt it?
One thing they really enjoy is 24/7 ordering. We see many of our B2B customers are working themselves in their shop during daytime. And in the past, they also had to order during daytime. Because there was no other way. Maybe they could do it by email, but it also was not so easy. Yeah. We see a lot of orders in the evening, and a lot of orders in the weekend days, Sundays, that are really the peaks in orders we get. So that's what they really like, and we also see that they can take their time, and something they also really enjoy is that when they get from their customer and question, I seek some kind of product, and they don't have it in their assortment, they can have a quick look. Okay, can I order it at Mijten? Oh yeah, they have it. I will order it, and next week it's I have it for my customers. So that are all aspects they really like. So that's and they what we also see is that customers that are starting with online ordering, they stay online. They don't go back to ordering by phone or by email or another way.
You mean they are starting with it from the first moment they engage with you as a customer? So it's really default, basically. Is that what you mean, Dave?
Yes, I mean that, but also customers that maybe are a customer of our company for 10 or 20 years. And when they start, they make the change from ordering by phone to ordering online, that they stay ordering online. Right. And that's for me is that makes for me clear that they prefer online ordering and not say, okay, tried it, but it's not my cup of tea. I'm getting the phone and order by phone. That's really we see they are sticking.
And maybe similar question as Tim asked you, but then on your team, on the commercial team side. So he asked the question on the customer side. What were the responses? Why are they using it? But can you tell a little bit more? I'm not sure how big or small your commercial team is, or the people that are involved on the commercial side. But what was their response, and how do they deal nowadays with this e-commerce platform?
When we first introduced it, and that's mostly with when you change something, they are seeing a lot of difficulties. For instance, or our the inside sales, our order entry people. That's the people that pick up the phone to get the orders by phone. Okay, and what's happening to my job? Is this to replace me? That was some of the first, but also from account managers that say, okay, but then you don't need me anymore because you're going to show online all the assortment, and now I'm going to all my customers to show and to promote the assortment. That were the first sounds.
How did you respond to those, Dave? Can I ask? So how did you respond to your sales team when they expressed those concerns?
My response was we need you even more, because now back then they were really busy with solving problems like the problems with orders that weren't correct, for instance. And now you see that they can evolve to another kind of sales. They can more elaborate on a new product we introduce, and not being busy with all the daily hassle about things that are going wrong. And that's really a change we see, and that's actually also true because we didn't skip any of the jobs. We even added people to the sales department. Yeah.
To get a bit of an understanding of how impactful that shift was, Dave. You mentioned you took your time 6-7 years ago. You made your first go at an online channel. Can you talk a little bit about the substance or the volume? How many customers or which percentage of your business is now going through that new channel?
I think approximately 60 to 70% of customers use now the online sales tool. We started 6 years ago, and we really did it on a low pace, low profile. We said, okay, we have now an online sales platform, and our salespeople visited our customers to really took them by the hand, say, okay, let's have a look. This is how it works. Try it sometimes. We also had some incentives. When you try it, you can get a gift when you try it the first time. Just small incentives to get them using the web shop, and that really worked. We saw we started with a handful of users, and then every month we saw that the amount of customers that used the online platform increased, and that's how we got to 60-70% now. And we see also that all the new customers that we get within our company, they almost for 100% use the online channel. You see also because other companies are using an online sales channel, they get familiar with it, and they are really willing to say, okay, that's good. I use it with that and that company, so I will really for sure use it for your company, from your company. Yeah.
And you talked about your different types of customers, right, at the beginning of this episode. So the farmers or the farmer organizations, I think you mentioned, and then the retailers, and maybe also end customers, kind of, is there. What is the division there in this adoption? So overall 60-70%, but is that equally spread, or do you see some differences there that are interesting to elaborate on?
Big differences, but that's more also to our own choice we have made, or choice. When we see the farmers, we see we have some salespeople that are visiting the farmers, and they are all the time, they are really not willing to introduce an online sales channel to the farmers. I have another opinion about it, but you see that when you don't get an willing sales people, it's difficult. In the retail channel, we see a lot of willingness at the salespeople, and then there we are at 60-70%, maybe even higher. And when we go to B2C, it's almost 100%, because we only do online sales directly B2C. So that's the really big differences. Yes,
that is very interesting, right? Because I wanted to say is that because of the salespeople, but then you mentioned the salespeople on the retail side, they are using it. So what is, according to you, the reason of this maybe resistance, or I'm not sure if it's resistant, but what is the reason of these differences between the adoption of the salespeople?
I think that when we look at agriculture, it's even more conservative, and when we look at Belgium, we are. I can compare it with the Netherlands. The Netherlands, they are more willing to adopt online changes. In Belgium, takes a bit more time, but we are going to do it. We have it on our list. We want to also put the farmers online, but there are also some practical difficulties. That's not that's just with the way we are working that makes it more difficult to get the farmers online. Yeah. Right.
In one of the previous episodes, actually, Tim mentioned this, right? Tim, that you mentioned, like it's not the salespeople, but they follow the customers, or how did you say this again? So I'm not surprised, basically, because this is about salespeople not using it, but Dave actually explaining it's because of the customers, probably.
Yes, but it's also, for instance, when we have it about the farmers, they buy. The point you get is that they. What we also do is you can order and you can pay directly.
Yeah,
and that's something we also wanted to go to the farmers, but that's really a difficult thing to implement. So there are some difficulties over there for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So they just require a slightly, if I understand you correctly, they require a slightly different sales process.
Yeah.
Which you at this point haven't yet implemented in your online.
Indeed. Yeah. Yeah.
If we look at the so look at the retail channel, for instance, right? So one of the customer groups that you have that did adopt the online channel. Do you see any differences in the cost of sale? Did that also become lower? Did you become more efficient as a team as a sales team?
Yes, yeah, we get more efficient because we were able to enlarge our customer base with almost the same amount of salespeople. And we had some increase in salespeople, but not the amount we would need without an online sales channel. And that's something I was doubtful about, because can you add retail customers just with your online without really meeting them in a regular pace? And for instance, every month you visit them. Now we have said, okay, can we visit our customers once in a half year? Is that okay? And then we have the online sales channel, and that works. That's no problem. That's really something. And even we have some customers, they say, okay, once a year a visit is perfect. I don't want more, because I have all the online information I need. I can call you. And that's really a change in the way of selling, because in the past we had really we visited all the customers once a month, once in 2 months. So that's really a change in the sales tactics. Yeah.
Got you. I think everything you say is stuff that other sales leaders and sellers will recognize. Like Ruben mentioned, we've talked about that resistance or reservation of salespeople to adopt an online channel. That's something that we hear more often, and it's good to hear you say that your salespeople have become more successful. And if I would then add the question, so could you talk a little bit about how it changed their day-to-day role? So did it become more exciting, or did it become a nicer job? Is there something you can say about how it changed their day-to-day?
I think they have less hassle with the day-to-day troubles there are, the day-to-day faults that they had to repair. On the other hand, but that's always they say, okay, you have now more time. Go and look for new prospects, new customers.
I see where this is going.
And so from I don't know if they are saying, okay, it's a better job today than it was. I think what they really recognize is that also as a salespeople, you can say, okay, is my job safe? Is the company successful? Is it? Are we going the right way? Are we? Can we get? Are we future proof? Yeah. And I think that is something that they are now really convinced. Okay, we are future proof. We are proud that we have an online sales channel. Also say that but my the other company they don't have it. We have it. So you see some proud and they really are also using it beneficial. So that's
competitive advantage.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And they are also using it themselves, because we all recognize that you have your assortment on paper and all your price lists on paper, and when you get a question, that's quite difficult. Now they log in on the web shop online, and they can see all prices, all customers, all products. So that's really an advantage for them. And I think to get back to your question about how they enjoy, is it more enjoyable to work with an online sales channel? I think this is something that really helps. That they are always connected with all the relevant information. Yeah.
Maybe as a follow-up question, Dave, because you're now talking about how the commercial people in your team experienced it and how they now see it. But how is this for you as a commercial or sales leader at Mijten? What is your life changed?
Yes, it changed. I enjoy it a lot. To begin, it's really nice to. For instance, in the past, when you want to change or to add a product to the assortment, then you had add it. It has to be on all the lists, and now I add it to the web shop. One email to the salespeople, one message to all the customers, and it's you can really change your assortment and your commercial part very fast. So that's really enjoyable, and also that you can easily get to new customer groups. Because with a mailing and some phone calls, you can direct new customers to your assortment, and you don't have to only visit them and where are they, and you have to meet them. It's more it's quicker, it's simpler, and that makes it more enjoyable. Yeah, you have more sales power.
So what you're saying is it made your life easier as a sales leader as well, and it also helps in the growth, which is of course one of your main responsibilities, basically, because you were able to find new customers and maybe sell more as well.
Yeah, and they find you. Something we have a very large assortment, and we always had our focus, for instance, on Belgium and the Netherlands. But we some years ago we got our first requests from the Middle East for bird feed and pigeon feed.
Okay.
And how did they find us? Not because we
visited them,
or we were on a fair presenting ourselves. No, they found us.
Right.
And that's something we have recognized. Moreover, that they really find us, and just by our online presence. And now we have some very interesting customers in the Middle East, and it's still growing. And that's just because our online presence.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
I will look for your products, Dave, because I'm in the Middle East myself as well, right? So,
you have pigeons, Ruben, at home?
No, not yet, right? But that's really cool. Yeah. So your point is really like not you finding new customers, but they actually find you through this e-commerce platform. That's very interesting, and also maybe a pleasant surprise, as you mentioned earlier. A pleasant surprise about already existing customers seeing your bigger assortment. Right, sure. Which was also a pleasant surprise. Very cool.
Absolutely, yes. Dave, if I would ask you what kind of tips you would have for other sales leaders that are still on the fence or doubting whether they should add this online channel, this B2B e-commerce channel, to their sales motion, what would be your tip?
My tip would be that first of all, it's where's the doubt? Is the doubt in costs? Because when you see an online sales channel, it's unfortunately not for free. It is it's quite a big investment you have to make. Is that you see costs, but what costs do you have right now in all your mainly printed form of assortment books and more on? That's then okay. What are your problems now? Because I think your online sales, when you say, okay, I want to do online sales, what kind of problem and do you face now? And is the online sales platform the solution for that problem? Because it's and that is really to analyze. Okay, what's going on? And the doubt in okay, can I implement it with my customers and my sales team? I think that's that doubt I can take away. You must not doubt about it, because that's possible. That's not a big thing, and it's getting easier because customers, everybody is more known with online sales. Everybody, almost everybody, buys online products. So I think that are really some things to think about when you are thinking about, okay, is an online sales channel good for me? It has many positive parts, but yeah, that's it really has to fit with your own company and your own the own challenges you are facing, and the things you need to get to the next step with your company. Because it's I think when you don't want to grow, you just want to do what you do today. You don't have to don't have to think about an online sales channel. It's really something when you want growing, you want to have more business. Then it's I can only say it's a good thing to do. Absolutely.
Super. That's some good tips, I guess.
Definitely.
You are our first the first guest on our podcast, Dave. We are trying to start a little tradition here, so we want to ask you to ask a question to our next guest. Could be anything. So anything that's on your mind. You could ask a question now that you feel like, hey, this is relevant, or maybe completely irrelevant. It's up to you. But we will make sure that we'll ask your question to our next guest. What would your question be?
The thing that the question I have is a question that's really something I am really thinking about. So I'm very curious what someone else is thinking about. How do you think that the role of sales will evolve in the coming years?
All right, we'll make sure we'll take that question. That's a great question indeed. We'll make sure that we take that question to our next guest.
Yeah, thank you, Dave, for this great question, and thank you very much for joining us in this episode. I think you telling this story is exactly why we started this podcast series, B2B E-Commerce Accelerated, because basically, I think you can be very proud of those results as well, and the things you have been telling is really great to hear about. Absolutely. You and your company in this traditional industry. Producer of animal feed, family-owned business. Already the fourth generation is coming in. And it was great to hear you talking about how you introduced e-commerce, why you did that, and how it helped your customers, how it helped your team, and also yourself as a commercial manager, right? And even with a lot of pleasant surprises, as you called it, right? So that was really good to have you. Thanks for sharing your story, and I know that it's very useful for other sales leaders in the B2B industry and sales teams or owners of family businesses who can maybe take advantage of your story. So thanks for being with us, and look forward to the next episode. Right, Tim?
Absolutely. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Dave. It's highly appreciated.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.